Well, hello. My name is Bridget Houghton. I am the art teacher, and this is our specials board presentation.
Hi, everybody. I'm Logan Hobson, and this is my 10th year teaching music at Westgate. Go to that next slide there. There we go. My goal is for students to experience music in a way that they will cherish and remember for the rest of their life. I teach music a lot like a language, so there's a lot of listening and repeating and speaking and learning the language of music. And learning an instrument with disciplined structured practice builds strong connections in the brain and has actually shown to increase the volume of the brain's corpus callosum. So it's also very academic uh, to learn an instrument and to uh, have a disciplined structured practice, especially at that early age. I also wanted to thank everybody who made the Rock and Run possible. It was a great success, and we raised a lot of money that can go towards new instruments, instrument repairs, and music stands and guitar picks and sound equipment and all the things that that will benefit our program. So just a little overview of all the things we do, which is a lot to go over with K through 8. Kindergarten and first and second grade is very similar in the way that they learn. So there's a lot of reading and listening and kind of learning the language of music by rote and back and forth. And then we start to recognize symbols. The rhythm is what I call the bones of music. There's a lot of, it's just the structural makeup of music. And it's the same thing with speech. It's very rhythmic and there's cadences and things you have to understand about it. They learn how to keep a beat on drums and they move a lot and they sing a lot and try to keep steady beats and playing together. Excuse me. We also do a lot of rhythms. You can see a common theme throughout each grade level is rhythm basketball. And rhythm basketball is a little game I made up where the kids get to roll. I got these new dice that have rhythm, like different rhythms on all sides, and the kids get to roll them. And then so that they get kind of a random rhythm. And there's two teams, and one team will clap and count a rhythm. And if they get it right, then they get to shoot the ball into the basket, which obviously is their favorite part. They don't know that they're learning. I'm kind of tricking them into it. But they seem to really love it. They get super excited about that. And we do that across all the grade levels. And obviously the complexity of the rhythms changes and the difficulty level. In third and fourth grade, if you've had a third and fourth grade student, you know all about recorder karate. You're welcome, and I'm sorry. Those are fun instruments, but they are quite the noise maker. But the kids really love it. It's quite the motivator. They essentially earn a new color belt all the way through as it gets more complex in the music that they're learning how to read and play that goes along with the different notes. Today, we actually learned how to write the treble clef and all the different notes about it and just kind of making that connection between the instrument that they play and the notes that they're reading. And then in fifth and sixth grade, they start guitars. They learn all the different parts of the guitars. They learn the names of the strings. They learn how to tune. We actually had our tuning test today, and they learn how to strum and play all the different chords that will be used for our songs. And they also learn about reading and writing the music notes, kind of like in the third and fourth grade. They learn how to write those things and create their own music. And they also play in small groups, not only with guitars, but we add marimbas and drums and singing as an option as well. And so they really kind of get a taste of what comes after that, which is seventh and eighth grade rock band. And if you haven't been to one of those concerts, I would really implore you to go. It's such a good time. The kids have a great time. They run the whole show themselves from beginning to end. They have solos and small groups that they work on much of the time outside of my class. And sometimes they come in after school and work on those things. And then, of course, we have our big group that they sing and play a full song. They get to choose the songs from a list of approved songs that I come up with. And this quarter, we're doing Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash, Man Who Sold the World, the Nirvana version of the David Bowie song. And those are the two that are solidified at this point, but we might get Enter Sandman by Metallica. It's quite the challenge, but they're up for it. So we'll see how that goes. And now to Mr. Anderson.
I cannot hear you, Mr. A. There we go. Well, no, never mind. I thought I could. No.
You were unmuted, Mr. Anderson, but we can't hear you.
No, still nothing. I don't know if you want to log off and come back in, and then can we skip to Bridget?
Yeah, we can keep going. All right, so hi everybody. I'm Miss Houghton, also known as Miss H, and I teach visual arts. So basically, my vision for the kids for all grade levels is just to create a fun and safe environment for them to really be themselves and explore art. They love to create. We really do have a very creative community of children. And I like to build their self confidence and really just encourage them to be their creative selves. My vision with art is just about creativity and expression. Art is a great way to not only express who you are as a person, but it can also really help with kind of working through emotions and working through difficult situations. I'm currently working on a master's program through art therapy. And so I've been kind of incorporating those ideas as well into my classroom, which is kind of how to think about your emotions and your things that are happening in your life and how to express them in ways other than words, because sometimes words just don't work. An image speaks 1,000 words, as we all know. So this is just a quick overview of my curriculum, organized kind of by grade level. So each one on the side, there are the elements of art. So line, shape, color, value, texture, form, and space. I try to touch on every single one of those every single year with all of my grade levels. They are honestly the fundamentals of art. And so touching on each one of those in a specific way for each grade level is great. As the grade levels progress and kids get a little bit older, they're able to kind of touch on more than one at a time per project. And so we start to talk about how we can work with multiple elements at a time and even start to talk about the principles of design and just how things can work together and how we can kind of enhance our artwork through that. So you also have my quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 for middle school. My middle schoolers, I've kind of split it up a little bit. So we do drawing for first quarter, painting for second. Third quarter is all about 3D, and then fourth quarter is digital and photography. So the kids can really kind of hone in on what they enjoy. Art is so vast and so different. And so really having that ability for them to kind of experiment with what they are most interested in helps a lot. And then I just wanted to throw in some pictures from this year, just from what the kids were able to do. On the top left, these are our most recent self-portraits from our 5th and 6th graders. This is a really fun process for them. They actually got to paint backwards. So it's similar to painting on a window pane where they paint all of the details first. So their highlights and their shadows and all of their little fine details. And then as they move backwards or up in the paint layers, then they get to that background layer. And then when they flip the paper over, which is a transparency, they're able to see their whole image. This is honestly one of my favorite projects to do because you can always see where they have their aha moment of, oh, this is how it's working, which is really fun. In the middle top, we have our Zentangle hands that my second graders just finished. This is a great project to talk about pattern and kind of start combining pattern and shape and working with those different elements together. My third and fourth graders just touched on Aboriginal art from Australia. And so we talked about kind of their culture and what was important to them and kind of how their culture progressed. And they were able to create these really beautiful designs from that. As we go down, these are kind of some of my middle school projects. So you can see some of the kids in the classroom creating. The one on the left is actually a project I did with Miss Charlie, or Mrs. Khan, sorry. She came in with some of Opal's old sheds, and we were able to create some really beautiful artwork with the old snake skins, which was super cool, and the kids were fascinated by it. Here in the middle, we have just a critique that we were doing for an upcycle project that I did with my middle schoolers. They took a traditionally famous painting and they were able to kind of edit it and make it more modern. So we had a critique out in the hallway where they got to talk about different, like, each other's artwork and kind of give each other some feedback, but it was more anonymous, so they didn't feel as I guess self-conscious sharing their opinions. And then in the middle on the right hand side, this is our school mural I just put up. Each one of the students during my class was able to create one of these squares for the school mural. So there are 450 squares up on the wall currently at the school, and it's really fun and great for the kids to be able to just make something large and collaborative that everybody can enjoy. If you have any other questions about my class or just want to stop by, you're always welcome. Would we like to take it back to Mr. Anderson, or are we going forward with Mr. Elliott?
I can go if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. I'll jump back to that.
Sweet. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. But I am Keaton Anderson. This is my first year teaching at Westgate. This is my third year teaching PE in total. I taught 2 years in Montana for third through fourth grade elementary. And then moving here, I get to teach kindergarten all the way through eighth. So it's been a little bit of a change, but it's been fun. And, really grown to like the littles and 7 and 8 too. They're a good group too. A little bit about my goal. So my goal teaching PE is to introduce students to a variety of different wellness related activities so they can have the tools and improve their confidence to live healthy and active lives. Just, giving them the availability and knowledge to go out there in the rest of their life and be active. My vision is to inspire students to maintain healthy and active lifestyles, develop students' confidence and perseverance, and also their knowledge of how to be a physically literate individual. Let's see, my physical literacy, having physical competence, and having confidence and motivation to take responsibility and to go, participate in physical activity outside of school. That's kind of what my main kind of goal is in PE class, is to give students just that confidence to go out there and, play different sports or do different activities. Just, be active and have as much fun as you can. A little bit about my PE curriculum summary. Starting with kindergarten, we always really focus on locomotor movement in kindergarten, having a safe body when you're in the gym, because there can be some, injuries that happen every once in a while. So we really talk about, moving around safely in the gym and keeping your head on a swivel, looking right, looking left. And yeah, that's one of the main things for kindergarten is just, being able to move in different ways and move safely. We also do some kicking, striking, throwing, different games that are involved with those to help build their confidence. We had to identify different body planes, and we really started discussing this last rotation more in depth of how the body moves, what are the muscles doing, that kind of thing, just so they understand that. And the other thing that I kind of introduced to the kindergartners this year is learning how to take their heart rate. It was pretty awesome once they figured out how to find their pulse and watching their eyes light up, and they're like, "That's my heart. Oh my gosh." So it was fun. 1, 2, we continue working on locomotor movement, do a little bit more advanced stuff with locomotor movement. Always talking about safe body and being safe in the gym. Always taking our heart rates when we're moving, talking about what is going on inside our body when our heart is beating. And we really focus more on some of the more advanced activities of catching, throwing, dribbling, striking, same things that we would do with kindergarten, but taking it a step further. 1, 2 is when I start talking to them about, implementing strategies and talking about offense, talking about defense, and really getting into sportsmanship. And then we also do basic exercises and talk about what muscles that we are exercising, what it's doing to our body. 3, 4, continue to do locomotor movements, but this time we add more motor skills and talk a lot about teamwork. We play a little bit more team-oriented games where they can work together, and we talk about cooperative games where you can work together as a team to, go and meet a goal. We do some catching, some throwing, some kicking, dribbling, but this is where we kind of get a little bit more advanced in striking with an implement. One of the cool things this year was we got a pickleball set, and it was really fun to introduce that to the 3rd and 4th graders, and teaching them how to strike with a paddle and how to volley with a paddle, and then getting into different games with that. We also go over the main muscle groups and body functions with 3, 4. A little bit more in depth than 1, 2, but just continuing to further education on health enhancement and how the body works. 5, 6, we do a lot of we do motor skills, movement patterns, but one of the main things I've been going over with them this year is sportsmanship. They start to get a little bit more competitive when 5th and 6th grade comes around, and I think sportsmanship is something that we talk about almost every day. But then we also talk about teamwork, and we do a variety of different games, activities. I start introducing team sports with them, and talking about lifetime skills and different activities that they can do the rest of their lives. This is when I introduced the FITT principle with them and really go over the muscle groups and body systems and pretty much just how to live a healthy lifestyle. 7, 8, this is the team sports class. We have a lot of fun in there. We play a lot of different team sports. I think I've introduced a few new ones to them this year, and they've had some fun there. Really talk about strategies and different different ways that you can use teammates and work together as a team to meet a different goal. I've had them create their own fitness plans and analyze different principles of physical fitness. That was interesting, seeing some of their goals that they're thinking about for the future when it comes to their fitness. We also have talked a lot about the body systems, specifically about the heart and how we can help improve the heart and the circulatory system to work as well as it possibly can. And then we do cover the FITT principle with 7th and 8th. And yeah, we just have a fun time in PE. That's one of my other main goals is I try to make it as fun as I can, but I also want them to be learning different skills that they can, take from my class and apply to everyday life just so they can, be active and stay healthy.
Mr. Elliott, same thing with you. I cannot hear you. Sorry to interject. I will now do an interpretation of what he would say now. I'm just kidding. He's probably logging off and then back on. Did that work for you, Keaton? All you had to do was just log in, or did you hit something different?
So I think when I got on, I went to the browser, and then this time
Okay.
I went to the Teams part, so that might help him.
Good to know.
Hopefully that works. I'll give you something visually interesting to look at while you wait.
Everyone test their mics if they're presenting next. It's a real thing when you're at home.
Mic is grayed out, disabled.
Try
Now
now,
it's-
Mr. Elliott.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think as you logged back in, we had to reauthorize your mic.
But you can hear me now? Yes?
Indeed.
No?
Yes.
Yep, all good.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry. Hi, my name is Matt Elliott. I've been working in schools since I was a kindergartner. And sorry, my mind's a little placed now that that happened. All right. Yes, iLab. I have the absolute joy and pleasure of teaching iLab this year at Westgate. When I discovered this position even existed, frankly, I didn't know what an iLab was, and it sparked my curiosity. And it's the same question I asked my students the very first day we started was, what does the I in iLab even stand for? I got a lot of mixed responses, but some of my favorites were imagination, engineering, which isn't quite an I, but a similar sound, and innovation. So it is actually Innovation Lab, but I told the kids it is all three of those as well. My goal in iLab is to foster creative thinking skills through emphasizing and engaging in real-world problems, working with authentic stakeholders, and develop potential solutions through the design thinking process and the problem-based learning model. I often refer to problem-based learning as PBL. It often gets mixed up with project-based learning. They are not the same, but they share a lot of similarities, and we definitely pull from both. My vision in this role is to foster. Mic is allowed. Okay, not for me. My vision is to foster creative, collaborative, and critical thinking skills so that our next generation has the skills to succeed in our future world. We often teach skills and all sorts of stuff in education that may or may not be useful to kids in the future. We never know what kind of problems they're going to encounter. So my goal is to try to have them think as critical problem solvers to be able to handle anything that life throws them their way. Next slide, please. On this slide, in the middle, I have kind of a picture of what design thinking is. You kind of start with emphasizing and defining what a problem is. And every grade level is working on different stuff. Just for an example, I had 3-4 working on the problem of light pollution and how it impacts not just animals, but also humans and our own rhythms and sleep cycles. And then we worked to ideate and prototype different solutions for how could we fix light pollution. And I really put the ball in the kids' court for this. They collaborate with each other. We've worked with stakeholders. We've talked and met with park rangers over in one of our dark skies parks up in the mountains. The name is escaping me right now. To come up with some potential solutions to this problem. And some, when I say potential, are a little out there, talking about putting domes over whole cities at night, to something maybe a little bit more realistic, where we can create a night where we all agree to turn off our lights and enjoy the stars for an hour. What I really enjoy about that process is it really gives the kids autonomy on how they want to pursue. And really my goal is, one, to present them with a problem, and then facilitate how they want to get that problem solved and give them as much research, materials, and supplies needed to make that successful. Pictured here is some examples of some projects done throughout the year so far. In the top left, I have some wildfire adapted shelters created by 7-8 and during their wildfire adaptation unit at the start of the year. On the top right is a model of the water cycle made by 5-6 that could be used as a teaching tool for younger students, as well as just a better understanding of where the water goes, how water works when we talk about water scarcity, which was their unit. Below that is an anatomy of a chicken. Our 3rd and 4th graders are currently working with Mrs. Khan and I on Westgate coops and how we can make improvements to our own coop and how we can make sure that our chickens are living their happiest, healthiest lives. And then over to the bottom left is a model of a rabies virus created by 2, 7, and 8th graders, as we're talking about pandemics and epidemics in our unit there. Really cool project that they got to work on as well, as they after doing a lot of research on how germs spread and viruses spread, they had an opportunity to work with kindergarten and teach our youngest learners healthy habits and hand washing routines. And it was such a great community moment to bring some of our old kids and our young kids together and share that learning. Other projects that have been done in iLab throughout the year so far, kindergartens made an animal sanctuary. 1st and 2nd grade worked on bug hotels and saving insects. Currently are working on creating inclusive playgrounds, playgrounds that can have everyone from any background or disability play on them and play equally. 3-4 worked on light pollution, is now working on our Westgate chickens. 5-6 worked on water scarcity and is now working on severe weather, currently focused on severe cold. They had made some shelters that we laid out overnight over the freezing weekend to see if our little plastic bag and water model humans could survive. Unfortunately, they did not, but they've been adapted into new scenarios. We'll test those this week. And 7 and 8 gets the luxury of having a bit of a longer time, so we get to go a little deeper. We've done wildfire adaptations. They've started a fake business and talked about what it goes into starting your own business. Endangered species. Getting your first job was a really fun one that the middle school did, where they ended up creating their own resumes. And we partnered with high school to have mock interviews, and we gotta kind of see if these high schoolers would hire some of our middle schoolers to jobs. Most of them got hired, which was great. And currently middle school is working on pandemics and epidemics, where, hand washing is obviously a key part of that. And it goes a lot deeper as well. 7A also gets the joy of, we do a longer unit for like 6 weeks. And then there's a shorter time, a 3 or a 2 week period after, before the end of the quarter. And I really try to give them the autonomy there and have them discuss on current problems that they're experiencing that they would like to have a say in how they solve. We collaborate together and come up with a group consensus on which one we want to tackle. And then we work really hard and really well together on creating a unit quickly to meet what their problem is and how we can try to solve it. That's where the starting a business and the getting a first job inspiration came from. iLab's a pretty unique classroom at a pretty unique school, and feel pretty blessed to be here. Thank you for your time.